Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 5 of the NFL season. I'm joined by Corey Mello and Nick D'Angelo. Today, we're going to be going over briefly the Thursday night football game, and then we will give our top 3 betting picks of the week, followed by our top 3 DFS picks at each positional group. And that should wrap things up after that. And then Nick, of course, will give his dime a dozen parlay where he parlays like 50 things together in hopes to get even money in the bet.
12. It's in the name. 12. How do you miss that? It's a dozen. Not a baker's dozen, just a
It's too bad we weren't able to upload our show from last week because we couldn't figure it out, but Nick did hit his first dime a dozen parlay, so it's unfortunate. And we actually all had some pretty good picks. But
what was your winnings from that, Nick?
As you follow along this season, I'm just going to bankroll the diamond dozen, starting with $20. Let's see if we could get to $1 million.
Yeah, okay.
Get to $1 million. Props to you. But Nick, I feel like that's going to be zero very soon.
Yeah, Nick, what was your winnings last week from that?
It was 20 to win 88.
Okay, so we're up 88. So 88
it's going to be an $88 bet this week.
All right.
Maybe the biggest bet I've ever placed. We're going to go for it.
We're ready for it at the end, so that's what people have to look forward to. All right, so let's start it off. Tomorrow night we have the Rams versus the Seahawks. The spread is at 2.5 plus 2.5 Seahawks. The Seahawks are at home. We'll start off with Corey. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
Yes. So I like this game a lot. The over-under is 54.5 this week for this game. Just a little stats for that. The over has gone in over. The total has gone over in this Rams-Seahawks game 4 out of the last 5 times. So it's a nice trend there. The game did open up at plus 1.5, so the line hasn't moved that much in total of the spread. It opened up at 53.5 as well. Rams 4-1 the last 5 games against Seattle against the spread. So for my pick, I'm going to be taking the Rams at minus 2.5. I think last week against the Cardinals, they just kind of fluttered out and they couldn't really contain Kyler Murray. But the Seahawks offensive line is atrocious. Again, Russell Wilson will be running for his life and trying to make plays. I just don't think that they will have enough plays made to cover the spread nor win this game. So I'm taking Rams minus 2.5 tomorrow.
Okay. Nick, do you have any thoughts on this game tomorrow?
I think Russ is bound to blow up. I think the Seahawks got a little bit more they got more reason to win here. I think they're fighting for a spot and staying competitive in that division. They know the Rams. They know that offense and the defense, how locked on they are. I think Russ is going to dial up some ways. Expect a big breakout game from none other than Dwayne Eskridge. Heard it here first. Throw that in the Captain Showdown mode, and that's one that's certainly going to win.
Jesus.
Well, I'm going to be on Nick's side in this game. I do think whenever you can get Russell Wilson at home as a dog, I think it's smart to take Russ there. I know, and it's funny. Corey and I are complete opposite sides. I prefer the under in this game as well. I think sometimes these divisional games, especially maybe if it was a Sunday, I would probably just avoid the over-under. But on a Thursday night, short week, I would take the under. But they can very well turn into a shootout. But I'm more confident on the Seahawks side than the total. So that's kind of just a little briefing for tomorrow night's game. But now we'll get into Sunday's game. And we'll go over our favorite betting picks of the week. We're going to rotate, so we'll each have 3 picks, but we'll start with Corey and rotate through them.
All right, perfect.
So start it off.
I think one of my favorite picks this week, especially after watching the game last week, is going to be Tampa Bay minus 10 against Miami. Miami's offense is atrocious without Tua. Jacoby Brissett did not look good. He couldn't throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field. Everything was underthrown, and the only reason the Dolphins even made last week's game against the Colts competitive is because the Colts kind of took their foot off the gas and let the Dolphins kind of move the ball down the field. But other than that, I watched the entire game. Dolphins had no offense whatsoever. Tampa Bay is 11-1 straight up the last 12 games, 5-0 straight up again at home. And Miami's 1-4 straight up last 5 and 0-6 against the spread in the last 6 games versus Tampa. So give me Tampa Bay -10. Take it to the bank.
It's a good thing Gaskin really stepped up there last week and filled the void, right?
Yeah, no, Myles Gaskin
probably never had a good running back. That's what I'm just perplexed about. Like, figure it out. Get someone back there.
I don't know.
Their line isn't that terrible. I don't know if it's the scheme or what. No diversity of that.
I'll just say that the Colts defense have never had pressure on the quarterbacks this entire year, and they got to Brissett, I think 4 or 5 times last week. So, and the Bucs have arguably the best defensive front, and they're just going to feast. So, give me -10. See you at the window.
Yep.
All right, Nick, what's your first pick?
I like the Bears money line +190.
Wow.
Justin Fields and Matt Nagy, I think, got a lot to prove. Raiders have been in some good games, have played well with some really phenomenal teams out there. But, I think it's all about the motivation this week. I think Gruden and the Raiders are going to have that hangover from that Monday night game, and Bears are going to shock them.
You think Fields shows up?
I think it's his breakout game. He's got to start putting it together at some point here if he wants to, stay ahead of the Red Rocket Andy Dalton.
No,
he's got to get it going.
I think
now or never here in Chicago.
I think Dalton's time's done. Justin Fields should be starting unless he just absolutely just does terrible. That's the only way they'll go back to Dalton. But I think he's the starter moving forward. I just can't bet any Bears games until I find out one way or the other. Like, he hasn't shown anything to me, so I can't bet the Bears.
And then on top of that offensive line is terrible. And actually, the Raiders' defensive front has not been bad at all. And Justin Fields is going to be running for his life. I mean, that might be, once those lines come out for his over-under on his rushing props, might be something to look at to take the over, just because, like he said, that offensive line is bad. He's a young quarterback. Young quarterbacks usually go through 1, maybe 2 reads, and then a lot of them like to take off and start running. And that's what he did in college. So that's something I'd be interested in looking at. So, but
I agree with you there on that.
Yeah, but money line is, good luck on that one, Nick.
All right.
Good odds. Good odds.
My first pick is, I was able to get this very early in the week, so I can't really. I got Jacksonville +7.5 before, and now it's moved all the way down to Jacksonville +4. So I think I was on the right side of that. If Brown and Julio are still out, I still like Jacksonville +4. And honestly, I don't mind Jacksonville's money line. I understand everything with the Urban Meyer situation. It's terrible, but at the end of the day, these players are going to show up. They're not just going to go out there and just like not play. Like, they're going to still want to get a win. Lawrence against this Tennessee defense. Lawrence has actually played some decent defenses. He's going to get this terrible Tennessee defense at home, divisional game. I have Jacksonville +7.5 and a little bit on the money line.
Yeah.
Y'all can think what you want. I had the Jets last week. Of course, we couldn't post it last week. I had the Jets money line last week, and you can attest to that.
I will give you that, but that locker room, they have no belief in Urban Meyer, and the fact that he didn't even get on the team plan.
He can rally around that, though.
No, dude. I've heard that everyone from analysts to former players to other people talking about it, that is the most unheard of thing of the head coach not getting on the plane after a loss on the road. That he's lost the locker room.
I'm more worried about that stuff when it's amongst players. I think these players are gonna Tennessee. If Brown and Julio are there, it makes me worried. I'm fine with the spread at over +3, but I would be a little more worried about the money line. However, I don't think Julio. I think one of the two will still be missing, and that still makes me like the spread enough. 7.5. I'm very confident.
I didn't hear that. So he missed the team flight.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he no, he didn't miss. He purposely didn't get on the plane at their Thursday night game so that he could stay in Cincy, and then he drove to Columbus, and then the whole thing broke out with him and that the girl at the bar and him getting a little handsy, and it he
I heard he brought her from Southern California when he was signing the deal at USC.
yeah, his foot's out the door. He's
He
this
picked up a USC co-ed, brought her to Ohio State.
yeah this game is
He's had it. He's had it with the NFL.
give me Titans minus 4.5. That was my other game I was going to talk about.
So that all right. I guess that goes to your second pick. Right?
Yeah, so Jags are 2-6 against the spread in the last 8. Titans they're not doing well either against the spread. They're 2-5 in the last 7, but against the Jags they're 6-2 against the spread. And like I said, I'm taking Titans minus 4.5. The over under is 48.5. The over is hit in 8 of the last 9 games for Tennessee on the road, so maybe it's something else to look at.
What's the over under in that game?
48.5 right now.
That could, especially since I like the Jags. I could see them winning in like a possible shootout. I don't know.
Yeah,
both have bad defenses.
no. So that's my second pick. So I guess PB9. So Nick, go on to your next game that you're looking at.
I like the Packers -3 on the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a ridiculous line to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people think the Bengals are good, but Aaron Rodgers is probably going to throw for 500 yards. Devontae Adams is easily going to put up 40 points this week. I'm not sure who's going to stop them, but I'm sure they're looking at applications right now in Cincinnati trying to find someone off the street to cover that guy.
Yeah, no,
I think you completely underestimate the Bengals defense.
They're terrible.
Okay.
Tell me one playmaker on that team.
I don't know. Trey Hendrickson could have won like Defensive Player of the Year last year. Does that ring a bell?
Last year. What's he done this year? How many sacks?
Well, the Bengals defense has been solid.
Yeah, but
they've played. You're talking a banged up, ugly Steelers team. Like what? Let's get the list.
This is like one of those games where I'm not betting it at all because the line's too fishy. And if I had to pick a side, like the public's going to be all over Green Bay here at that number.
Should be.
It's probably, this is one you stay away from or you bet the Bengals side, in my opinion.
No, I'm with Nick. I'm taking Green Bay. I saw that line open up and I'm like, why in the hell is Green Bay only -3? Okay, they're on the road, but when you have Aaron Rodgers, the reigning MVP against Joey Burrow, that Zach Taylor's offense, who if they get down, like they just air raid, and I think that even with the Packers secondary being very banged up, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I don't think they'll be able to score enough points to even keep up with the Packers and the scheming. I mean, you saw it last week against. I mean, the Steelers' defense is not anything to blink against, and Aaron Rodgers was moving the ball very efficiently on them. They were running the ball on the
Steelers' defense is overrated. Their line is good, but their secondary isn't anything to.
No, but the Packers are out with oh my God, Bakhtiari. Yeah, and it didn't really make a difference. And I just think that with Green Bay, the way they're playing, I think they are going to absolutely destroy Cincinnati. Won't even be close. Green Bay is 11-4 against the spread against AFC teams, 6-2 against the spread in the last 8. And I just think
is this your third pick as well?
Yeah, this is my third pick.
Oh, so yeah, so you guys.
Yeah, I've been on the same line, so
you can just bouncing it back perfectly with one another.
All right, what's your next pick, Peeps?
My second pick is the 49ers plus 5.5 against the Cardinals. This is another one of those. I love being able to get these divisional games when they're at home, just like the Jags. 49ers at home, and then who's starting at quarterback most likely? Trey Lance. Trey Lance was my favorite rookie quarterback coming into this year, and I think he just shows up. I think this is going to be a lot closer of a game than people think. Everyone's high on the Cardinals, and this is another one of those, like last week when I discussed how betting teams that are 0-3 against the spread has historically been profitable. Right now, the Cardinals are 3-1 against the spread. The 49ers are 1-3 against the spread. usually they'll make those spreads a little looser than they should. This should probably be more like a +3 or a +3.5, and you're getting 5.5. So I do like the 49ers at +5. I think they're a great team to include in teasers, getting it through the key numbers of 7 and 10 as well to get to 11.5. So I have them in some teasers as well. But I just think the Cardinals are gonna face like a very good quarterback in Trey Lance, and they're gonna keep it. This could turn into a crazy shootout.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it very well could be. I mean, his first rookie start, I'd stay away from that just because you don't know exactly what. I mean, he came in last week, but I mean, a lot
Went
of
well
his
for Fields, right?
What?
Went well for Fields.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, like Trey Lance last week, the only reason he had so many like passing yards, he hit a wide open Deebo Samuel, and that was like a 60, 75-yard touchdown. Other than that, I mean, he has the rushing upside. I don't like to bet rookie quarterbacks in their first start just because you don't know how they're going to perform. So maybe next week I'll be on that train, but other than that, I will stay away.
You had your 3 picks. Or Nick, what's your third one?
Before I dive into mine, I'm just going to say Trey Lance for me is guilty until proven innocent. 49% completion in the preseason. Not going to fly with me. I don't think he's going to be good. He's got bust written all over him. Consider this guy the next Josh Rosen.
Oh my gosh.
So to go into my next pick, I like the Lions +8.5 over the Vikings. I think they got to get a win here.
What is it with you and the Lions? You thought the Lions were going to beat the Bears last week. What is it you on this Lions train?
They got the energy in the locker room. I like the interviews with Jamal Williams. He kind of gets me pumped up for some Lions football. And that's pretty much my only reason for taking the Lions in back-to-back weeks here. Pretty terrible football team outside of those interviews. But, here for the media.
There you go. Nothing like putting your money on Jamal Williams' locker room in media.
I mean, they have been in most. I mean, not most games. They have been in the game, so I don't mind it. But I mean, if anything, I tease it down.
The Lions
I like the divisional
injuries.
Be close.
This is one of those games where it could be like how the Bills and Texans. Like this could be the Vikings steamrolling the Lions, in my opinion. But that.
I think Vikings actually have a good defense. Watched them last week against the Browns. Besides Baker missing,
you're taking the Lions.
Terrible amount of passes. Pretty solid pass rush. I like Daniel Hunter. He's a good player.
All right.
Like you're taking the Lions.
Still taking the Lions.
All right. My last pick. I know Nick will probably be on my side as a Browns fan, but Browns +2.5. We've seen what the Chargers do. They do not give anything to the passing game. Brandon Staley is the lead candidate. I'd bet him to be coach of the year right now. You can still get him at like +800. He's just done an incredible job during his first season. They don't give anything. They've held Mahomes, Dak. We just saw Derek Carr after he threw like 400-yard games struggle. Their game plan is like you have to beat them in the running game. And what team has the best running game, or at least the top 2-3 running game in the NFL? It's the Browns. They have the duo threat of Hunt and Chubb. I think it's going to give the Chargers nightmares. And I don't think the Browns rely on the running game to win, and I think that's how they will win this game. So I think the Browns +2.5 is a great bet.
Okay.
Might be the only time you hear me say this, but I actually like the Chargers this week. We're going to miss our left tackle. I know, crazy. We're going to miss our left tackle, Jedrick Wills. Joey Bosa is going to eat up this second-year left tackle out of Cincinnati. The guy's just got cement feet. I mean, Jesus Christ, everyone's blown by him. It's not great. I think, that's going to hurt the run game. Like you said, Baker coming off a pretty big struggle of a game passing. They're not going to be able to switch it up, and I think they're just going to load the box and shut us down.
Interesting.
Well, there's some disagreements here on this one, so we'll see who's right when we come back next week. But that's kind of our run through with some of our betting picks, and we'll each give out now one player prop in this week's slate that we like. So we'll start with you, Corey.
I'm going to.
If you have any, if you don't have any, you can.
No, I got one. Tomorrow night, I'm going to take Woods anytime touchdown at plus 125. He hasn't gotten the end zone yet. He hasn't been really involved. McVay came out.
Woods?
Yeah, Bobby Woods. McVay came out this week.
He's making it out of the woods.
Yeah, he needs to. He's lost. So I think McVay's going to go into the woods, find him, bring him out, and he's going to get in at plus 125. So
I like that.
I think he's like only out of the receiving core for both teams tomorrow night. I think he's the only one with plus money for receiving props. So I'm going to take him plus 125.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that bet a lot. Nick, do you have any? McVay going on. McVay did say he wanted to get Woods more involved as well. So, Nick, do you have any player props this weekend?
Yep, I'm going to stay consistent here, fading that trash Bengals defense. I think Aaron Jones over 63.5 rushing yards. Absolute lock. I see, Green Bay is going to go up big, start feeding the rock, pounding it down their throats, It's going to pick up a lot of yards. If that's not the game plan, I think Peter LaFleur is he's always got something crafty designed in the run game, and he could get that even if it's close. So,
telling you, Bengals defense underrated. No. We'll see how it pans out. My player prop is actually Rodgers under 24.5 completions in that game. Rodgers has not hit. He's the highest he's gotten this year is 23. He has not gone over that once this year so far. And his player prop is at 24.5. So I think his under, going against what I've said already, I think the Bengals defense is solid. And so that kind of ends this segment on our picks of the league. Now we'll head over to the main slate for DFS, and we'll each give, starting with Corey, he'll give his top 3 quarterback plays of the week. Then we'll go into Nick and myself.
We're going to call a quick TV timeout here. We got to get the Diamond Dozen picks in.
That's at the end, Nick.
Come on, you're skipping over me.
That's the last thing we do.
All right.
Everyone looks forward to at the end is your Diamond Dozen parlay.
It's the highlight.
All right. That's what everyone's waiting for.
Exactly. We'll always end the show with that. To see if you still have any money left in your bank from rolling it over every week.
We'll see. Okay, so into DFS quarterbacks, my top 3 plays.
And just as we do this, we're going to be doing a high tier, mid tier, and low tier at each position, so you don't just give out 3 studs.
So
go ahead.
Going against PB again, Aaron Rodgers is my high pick. I just don't think that the Bengals are all that, and I think he'll just throw the ball across the field, up and down, and they will score a lot of points. And I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns at least this week throwing the ball. Mid-tier is going to be Kirk Cousins. I think he's still undervalued at his price. He's around like 6,200, 6,300. I guess like a little bit more than higher than mid. But he has the receiving core to make him a top play this week with Thielen and Jefferson. I know they're more of a run first team, but the Lions defense is atrocious. They just released Jamie Collins. They just give me Cousins. He's been playing well. And then for low tier is going to be Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes against the Cowboys, who did play well last week, but the way Daniel Jones runs the ball, his upside is too high for his price at where he is. So those are going to be my top 3 plays of the week.
Okay. Nick, your top 3 of the week.
For QB?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So for some of the more expensive quarterbacks, I like Dak Prescott in this one. I think that's probably going to be the highest scoring game. I don't know why, but just a hunch. Mid-tier, I kind of like Danny Dimes, same game. And then low tier, I think Trevor Lawrence could have that breakout game. Maybe with no head coach and leadership, he kind of takes that as an opportunity to step up as a leader on and off the fields. It's pretty easy to bet on a number one pick too. So we'll see what he's got.
We'll see. All right, Pete.
I can say between your two, I like Knicks more. I like those three. Right. Aaron Rodgers this week against the Bengals. And Kirk Cousins is usually always just I hate playing Kirk Cousins.
He's been playing well.
He's always solid though.
For cash games, yeah. I mean, I guess specifying cash or tournaments, there's no upside.
Last week he didn't play well, but the previous weeks he's been very, very well.
So for me, it starts out at the top high tier. I'm just going straight to Kyler. I mean, he's the MVP leading candidate, and what I think could be a shootout against the 49ers. I mean, give me Kyler, and then that brings me right into my next mid-tier pick, which is Trey Lance at 5,700. I think like DraftKings knew if they would have priced Trey Lance at like 5,000, every single person would have played.
Has he been confirmed as a starter yet?
If he's not starting, then
no.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to start. I think Jimmy G
is still questionable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I still think Lance ends up playing. If he doesn't, then yeah, I like Daniel Jones at 6,000 because he's 300 more than Lance. He's a very, very good play this week. But yeah, Kyler at the top, Lance if he plays in the middle, and then this is not. I don't really like him in tournaments, but Jared Goff at 5,200, he's met cash game value. Usually, you want like a 3x out of your like quarterback, and at 5,200, he's met like almost 4x 3 out of 4 weeks. So I do like Jared Goff a little bit. Cash game, but
just on a personal note for you, PB, how are you feeling about your QB Jameis Winston being cheaper than Trey Lance, a quarterback who is yet to be the confirmed starter?
Well, because fantasy is different than real life, Winston got taken out for Taysom Hill in like the third quarter, which was a major mistake. So I can't rely on like coaching decisions and the way that they operate on like the goal line. It's just he hasn't been the best fantasy player. He's been a great in real life quarterback, in my opinion. But anyway, I know you're just trying to get under my nerves with that Winston.
I said, how are you feeling? You know?
Yeah, no. Lance, if Lance scored 20 fantasy points in 2 quarters. I mean, that's enough said. He runs the ball. He ran 7 times for 40 yards and a half.
Because he can't throw. Yeah,
he can't. He threw 2 touchdowns. What are you talking about? He had like 200 yards a half or something.
All right, Jesus.
1 deep ball. I don't know. 49% in the
All right.
preseason.
Well, we'll see. Those are my picks. So now we'll go to Corey for his top 3 running back plays.
All right. Top 3, Chubb, number 1. Again, we highlighted earlier, Chubb. If they do split the backfield, and I know PB doesn't like playing Chubb in tournaments just because of that reason. Chubb still has, the opportunity to break one for, I guess Hunt does too, but we've seen Chubb do in the past more often than Hunt has. And I just, where he's priced, I think he's like 7,000, 77,000.
No, he's 6,700.
6,700, so even better. So play him. Start him. Throw him in the tournament.
Corey, you're right. And normally I don't like playing Chubb in tournaments. This week is an exception because he's under 7K and he's facing a weak Chargers defense.
So give me that. And then actually, both my next 2 running backs are kind of around the same value. Damian Harris, the Patriots had -1 rushing yards against the Bucs. I don't think Bill Belichick liked that. I know Bill Belichick goes with the hot hand, and Damian Harris is the best back there. Brandon Bolden came in multiple times last week and didn't do anything. Damian Harris didn't do anything either, but
Brandon Bolden had a decent. He's the James White.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
But just
filling in for James White. I think he runs a lot harder than Damian Harris too. I think he could be a potential breakout candidate this year.
No.
I don't know about
that. Take that take and throw it out the window because that's a terrible take. And then my next play is gonna be Lenny Fournette. Lenny Fournette versus the terrible Dolphins. He is below 5K. They ran all over the Patriots last week. Rojo.
I think he's established himself as the lead back in Tampa too.
Oh yeah, he for sure is. Yeah. Ronald Jones is by far not.
He might have. Ronald Jones might have the stadium named after him, but Lenny Kravitz is here to stay.
Yeah, so those are my plays. I think I think Leonard Fournette's gonna have a huge week. Though I do think he's gonna be highly owned just because people saw what the Colts' terrible offensive line, beat up offensive line did last week to the Dolphins. I think it's just gonna be a blowout game. I think Leonard Fournette's gonna carry the Bucs to win. All right, Nick, who's your running backs?
Top 3.
I really like Chase Edmonds this week. I know James Conner's been getting a ton of work. He had a pretty big fantasy week last week, but I think with San Francisco, they're going to have to switch it up. I just think they're going to feed him the rock. I don't know. Like Chase Edmonds, I think that if you had to go for a top tier guy, I mean, Derrick Henry's obviously got the best matchup, but I also kind of like Aaron Jones back to chewing up that Cincy defense.
All right.
Okay.
Nice.
My top 3 is if Dalvin is a full go against the Lions, give me Dalvin Cook over Henry at like a $600 discount. However, Dalvin's limited, then it's Henry. So it's one of those 2 studs I'm going to probably have a lot of. Both have incredible matchups. Derrick Henry, if he starts getting used in the passing game more, I mean, it's a wrap. Like, he's like the fantasy RB1. You probably just got to play him every week on like DraftKings.
You got a new McCaffrey.
Yeah, like even it's like McCaffrey on steroids because of what he does on the ground. Like, it's ridiculous. Crazy. So he's like the upper tier, mid tier. Fournette, like you said, he's a great DFS play this week. He has taken over this Tampa Bay backfield. He's like 5,200. He's too involved in the passing game and at the goal line. He's a great play. And then low tier, man, it's crazy how many Bengals I'm having this week. Samaje Perine at 4K. I know. This is only if Mixon's out, obviously.
Yeah.
If Mixon is out and Perine is announced as the back, he is at 4K. You're getting a lead back at 4K on DraftKings, which is rare you'll ever get. Like, even like in previous years, DraftKings was bad at pricing running backs to where it's you could get $4,000 running backs. This year, it's like they have backups priced at like $5,000-6,000 just in case, but they didn't do that with him. I'm telling you, if Mixon's out, Perine, he's a decent play. He's maybe not in tournaments because he probably has some limited upside, but in cash games, it's gonna be tough not to play Perine.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll give you cash games, but Samaje Perine is making me throw up in my mouth just saying that.
I don't know. Bolden's the same price, so it's like pretty hard for me to.
You'd rather play a RB2 in a Patriots offense than the Bengals lead back.
I'd rather play Rex Burkhead than Samaje Perine.
Fair enough.
You're ridiculous. I'll bet you Perine, if he starts, has a better week than Rex Burkhead.
There's actually like a decent amount of options at the 4,000 level. You know, you could get Amir Abdullah.
Nobody cares.
Fields.
No.
Philip Lindsay.
No.
I mean,
those are all terrible plays.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into receivers for you.
All right. So low tier, I'm going to start low this time. Shenault, he is going to be more involved with the injury to the wide receiving core of Jacksonville. Who's the receiver that just put on IR?
Keelan Cole.
DJ Chark.
Yeah, TJ Chark. He's on IR. So Chenault's going to move up. He was already involved in the passing game a lot before, so I like him. Mid-tier, I'm going to go with either Antonio Brown or Adam Thielen. They're kind of – Thielen's going to be a little bit more expensive than Brown. Brown's at $5,200. But Like I said, the Dolphins, they're just gonna give up points to the Bucks, and then again back onto Thielen. Thielen against, you know, they're gonna be throwing the ball. Detroit, terrible defense.
He's stealing it.
He's stealing it. He's been stealing it this entire year. So I like him as well. And then obviously, since I like Rodgers, I like Adams too. So those are my 4 picks, I should say.
Nick, your top 3 receiver picks.
I think I like Tyler Boyd because Jari Alexander's probably going to take Jamar Chase out.
Jari Alexander's not playing again. Don't sleep on the Bengals this week.
Sleeping.
All right. Well, I'm going to need to come back to that one. That changes my thought process there.
You want me to go
I'm just going to go right at it with I got to rebound strong here. Dark horse. He's a giant. He had an explosive week last week. Big plays. He used to have a big name. People forgot about him, but comeback season starts now. John Ross III, baby. Here he comes. Dallas is gonna.
Are you trying to give people like losing picks just so like your lineup is better?
No.
That's what it literally sounds like. All the picks you're just trying to make people spend money just so you cannot play these players and just beat them.
Break it down to the game script.
Oh my
Saquon is not even going to be used this game. Galladay can't catch for the life of him. Everyone else is hurt. John Ross is going to step up. They're going to need to score points. Danny Dimes chucking it deep. That's my number 1 stack right there this week. Danny Dimes, John Ross III.
I mean,
it's in the middle.
Can you send me some like head-to-heads on DraftKings?
Yeah. Hey,
Let's do it.
Invite me into those 2, please. I would gladly take your money this week, Nick.
Please, as many as you want. Just send them my way.
All right, PB, go into it.
Okay, so at the top best like overall receiver, Adams. So yes, I like the Bengals, but what Adams does on the offensive side, yeah, I can like Adams too.
Don't sleep on the Packers.
He has a 35-40% target share. If I have under Rodgers 24.5 completions, well, all 24 of them could be to Adams. So yes, I like Adams.
Did he have 18 targets that 1 week?
Yeah,
something crazy.
He has a 35-40% target share with Aaron Rodgers. It's enough said. He should be priced at over 9,000 every week, and if he's not, you should probably play him in all your cash games and in a lot of tournaments. So Adams at the top.
Targets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then at the mid-tier range, one of Godwin or Lamb. I can't. It's tough to decide, but I'll probably just. I'll have more Dak, so I'll probably have a little bit more Lamb, but Godwin's a better cash game play. So at that price tier, Godwin and cash and Lamb better probably for tournaments, I'd say. And then at the bottom tier, they did not price him up from last week, and they made a huge mistake. 3,000 Curtis Samuel. Diami Brown is now out. Logan Thomas is out on IR. And now you're playing the Washington's playing the Saints, and then Lattimore should be on McLaurin. So
I like that.
I think, Curtis Samuel is going to be he's a cash game play. He's a good tournament play. He's just he's the best punt receiver for sure.
He'll probably be pretty chalky this week if I had to guess, just with his pricing and the injuries.
He'll be owned this week, but he's a good play. And
do we get a percent owned look on that? It says here that he's questionable. Do we know what the injury is?
Let me quickly see if I have a projection on his ownership. But
groin.
Who?
Samuel. It's his groin from. That's who he was out for the first 3 games.
Yeah, but he's just questionable. He played last week limited. He'll probably increase his snaps this week. Right now he's 3,000.
I like his potential. Last week he's obviously going to start a little slow coming back, but picking up 4 catches for a measly 20 yards, he's at least getting the looks. I think his yards after catches will pick up as time goes on. He's
4 for 50 for a cash game.
Yeah,
that's all he needs. He's a very good. He's the best punt play receiver.
He's going to get the looks.
Yeah. So
volume is there.
Yep. So now we'll go into tight ends, Corey.
Dude, tight ends are the grossest things
I
to
know.
look at. Like you go off the first two, you're like it's like Darren Waller if Kelsey's on the main slate, Kelsey, and then it drops to like
Yep.
4,500. It's weird. But I think one of the most chalkiest plays this week is probably me Schultz for the Cowboys. Just off the last 2 weeks, he has 3 touchdowns. He's getting the looks. I'm pretty sure he had like six or seven receptions last week. So that he's my mid tier. I mean, mid tier. I mean, what
Yeah,
if
what
if,
is
if,
Yeah,
if you're not
he
playing?
would be like mid tier for a tight end.
Yeah,
So
if you're not playing Kelsey, which you can't this week on the main slate, I mean,
yeah,
if you want to spend up for Waller, you can get different, I guess, and play him as the flex position in a tournament. But I mean, that's I think at 7,200, I'd rather have someone else there than Waller. But and then Hooper for the Browns. I mean, again, he's getting looks. I don't really love it, but at 3,000, I'll throw him in there just because one. I mean,
I
Browns are
think you're
so
playing
without.
for a touchdown on that.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, you
he's a
are.
better tournament
Yeah,
maybe, but
I mean,
I'll have zero.
The thing is, like, he's so talented, they don't ever really use him. It's
they
like,
you
all the
paid him.
bootlegs and play actions, they're designed for those short routes. He
Right.
runs a lot of them, but you get Harrison Bryant and David Njoku, who are very fluidly.
I can understand you saying David Njoku's talented, but I don't want to hear you saying Austin Hooper is talented. He's not. He's in the NFL. He's talented, but at the NFL level, I'd rather like Njoku. I can see is like a freak athlete.
Hooper just plays more. That's I mean he plays the most there. I mean they paid him for a reason. Like I said, it's gross. It's not a great play, but like
why play tight ends in committees? Why not just play a tight end that has is by himself like
Gesicki.
yeah, or Ingram. I'll get into my pick. But
well, okay, but and then my last one's Goddard mid tier. Again, I mean they're playing the Panthers. Panthers just kind of beat up their defense again today. I mean, I expect the Eagles to be down in this game. They're going to be throwing the ball. Ertz has been used more than probably a lot of people thought this year, just with his relationship
Past
towards
2
that.
weeks.
Yeah, with his relationship to the organization, a lot of people thought that he'd be traded by now. He's not. He's kind of still there. He's still he's not producing, but he's taking targets away from Goddard. Goddard obviously is still the better tight end. So I mean, I'll take him at sub 400 or 4,000. So Nick, who's your?
That was my bottom feeder pick for 3,400. Zach Ertz. The past 2 weeks, he's scored over 12 points. Averaging 5 receptions. That's pretty good for that level. But my favorite play of the week is Mike Gesicki. I think him and Jacoby seem to have the best connection on the team. Waddle hasn't done too much. Will Fuller's on the IR. Devontae Parker is just going to remain average for the remainder of his career, as he typically does. So I think Gesicki, he's got the skill for sure, but now he's finally got someone that wants to throw him the ball. I think they're going to be behind. There's no running option, so he gets the check downs. I think he's just in the perfect situation, honestly.
No, well, I mean, if you spend
for his price, like 4,200, a little bit much for a tight end, but like pretty comfortable spot to spend. I don't think you're overpaying for him at 4,200. That's for sure.
No, but just after last week, that Miami offense is going backwards, not forward. So, kind of like my Hooper pick, I will stay away from Gesicki. So, PB, let's hear your gross picks, PB. At tight end.
Yeah, they're all gross, but I like because again I like Lance. I like Kittle this week. Kittle got 11 targets. He didn't do much with it, but he did. I believe he had a drop touchdown pass, and I think if he could have caught that, he would have been probably a little more expensive and higher owned this week. But I don't think he scored a touchdown this year. Am I right? Like he hasn't. Like he's gonna find the end zone soon, and I see it happening with Lance week one of him starting.
You're right.
And
that must be why I woke up to a novelty from you this morning, asking for a trade for Kittle. It all makes sense now.
Anyway, second tier pick, I agree with Nick. Gesicki is probably like the best mid tier. He's a freak athlete. Jacoby's been looking his way probably more than a lot of, besides Waddle, he's like the second look. And the Tampa Bay Bucks, they have a good defensive front, but they have a terrible pass defense right now. I mean, they're just getting torched more than any team in the league.
Wait, can I stop you there for a second?
What?
Can I stop you there for just 1 second?
Yeah.
To take advantage of bad, DBs in the corners, you have to have a good quarterback who can throw the ball more than 5 yards. Brissett cannot do it.
But Brissett, he has like 12. He's been like the tight end 2 or 3 over the last couple of weeks.
I know.
What do you mean he can't throw the ball deep? Wasn't he the guy that would come in Indy because Phillip Rivers couldn't chuck it deep?
Well, that's
right.
Yeah, he just threw the ball. He's not accurate. He was like 8 and 9.
Literally only
Gesicki isn't running John Ross routes. He's just middle of the field. He can beat up on this Bucks secondary. Final pick, like I said, Ingram. Who was it? Hooper at 32. Just give me Ingram, who has the tight end position all to himself. He's on the field most of the snaps, and he's seen 6 targets each in his 2 games back. And he gets a Dallas defense that has been getting beat by the tight end position. So give me Ingram as like the cheaper play, great cash game play, and tournament. So finally, we'll go into defense. I don't even know why we do defenses, but
I couldn't pick one. I was like, I don't want any of them.
Play the Jaguars in cash games and play your favorite defense other than that you think there's a D-line, O-line mismatch. That's like
Bucks.
It's
Give me the
most
Bucks.
random scoring.
Bucks. They're the highest, one of the highest defenses.
Aren't they like 5K?
They're 4,200.
47. The Patriots are 49.
Yeah, like the Patriots.
Why would you pay that?
I'm just saying if if you're looking for a dominant defensive performance, give me the Bucks. The thing is, in these tournament plays, PB, like we've always talked about, you're looking for something different. Yeah, that takes away a lot of salary from.
No, I agree. Tournaments, play whatever defense you want.
Yeah,
that's my play every defense in your player pool.
Yeah. So and then also low tier, give me the Washington football team.
Okay.
I kind of like that one. I think if there's one defense to avoid the hype on, is the Carolina Panthers. Everyone's like, okay, top 5 ranked defense this week. They played the Jets. They played Jameis Winston and the Saints. Then they played Houston, who hasn't put up more than 10 points all season with this dusty rookie quarterback. So while, the Patriots are 4,900, they might actually be worth it. If one person is just an evil devil that likes to chew up and spit out rookie quarterbacks, it's Bill Belichick. Okay, we saw it against.
Didn't do that against
Zach Wilson. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
But back to my Panthers statement, they played an actual offense for the first time all season, and they scored -4 points, led up 36 against the Cowboys. Hard fade. Jace Horn. Their star rookie cornerback, torn ACL, done for the season. Fade him.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I like I said, Jags for cash games or one of those 2,300 or less defenses for tournaments. I guess the Raiders.
I had the Raiders as well.
The Raiders and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Going against the Broncos. If Drew Lock's playing, yikes.
Yeah.
And the Steelers can still cause some havoc. So that's. If you're paying up, those are my favorite, but play whoever you want on defense. It doesn't matter. All right, so now we've kind of wrapped up everything. We'll give our final – Corey, you have some?
Yeah, just before we get to Nick's Diamond Hands dozen parlay pick, teaser this week. So 5-team teaser very quickly, 25 to win, 125. Give me the Falcons +3. Bucks move them down to -4. Give me the Washington football team at +8.5, and give me the Titans +1.5, and Packers +3. 6.5 point teaser. +333. So that's my play. So if anyone has anything else, I mean, I think we've reached the end. Unless anyone else have any teasers?
Time for the Diamond Dozen.
Yeah, I won't give a teaser on this one. I like more.
It's pretty crazy. People scour the internet for days and days. They try all sorts of out of your garage businesses and looking for ways to make their first million. all they have to do is tune in to us every week. So we're on week 2 here. So if you're just starting out, you're going to want to put $88 on your road to $1 million on the line here for the Diamond Dozen.
That's what you should call this, not Diamond. Just call it the Road to $1 million.
Road to $1 million. Well, it's the same thing. It's a 12 pick parlay. I'm pretty much taking all the points that I could possibly get. That's my strategy here. There's not much else to it. I pretty much go to the alternate spreads, see what's going to give me the most points. Forget the odds. I don't care about that. I'm parlaying it 12 ways. I'm going to quadruple 5x my money. Can't do that in the stock market in a year.
All right, go. Just what are these terrible?
All right, we're starting out tomorrow. It's the least amount of points on the whole slate, +7 Seahawks. Okay. I think it's good. Could be a game changer right off the bat, but we'll see. All right, so then we got some heavy points games. We got Jets +17 over the Falcons, lock. Steelers +12.5 over the Broncos, lock. Lions +24 over the Vikings. We all know how I feel about the Lions. They're ready to go. That's a lock. Texans +24. I think that might be the only points they get, but I don't see the Patriots putting up much more than 24. So let's cheers and hope they get a field goal or something, because that's a bust if not. Then we got Jaguars +19. I think that one's pretty safe. Yeah. I like Eagles +14.5. And then we got the Dolphins +24.5 as well. We got Washington football team +14.5. Bears +20. 49ers +13.5. Kind of scared about that one too. And actually the lowest points, I was wrong. It wasn't the Seahawks. It's the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, no. That's what's going to ruin it for you.
It could be.
What are the odds here?
So it's 88 to win 665.
Wow.
Damn.
That's actually it's not bad at all.
It's a terrible bet, but I'm just like the payout.
I'm here for it because if it hits next week, you got to put a $600 parlay together.
Yeah,
and I'm very excited.
That will eclipse anything that's ever touched my bankroll.
I'm guaranteeing is not hitting this week.
I'm known in my friend circles as the conservative bettor, throwing $5 parlays. I'm like, if you lose it, you lose it. But
just some pizza money, right?
You turn nothing into something, right?
But mostly with you is if you lose it, you lose it.
Yeah, but
you don't really play the downside risk.
Jeez. All right. Well, that wraps it up for this week's show. We'll be back next week for week 6. Anyone have anything else to add at the end of the show here?
No. Go Colts.
Go Saints.
And go Browns. Sayonara.